Hello everyone, this is Jed, and in this video I'm going to speak about confirmation bias, how we interpret things and how we create concepts of reality. I've been noticing lately that people tend to look at things a lot through their own particular perspective, through the filters of their particular ideas and beliefs about things. So whatever the external phenomena or factoid might be, each person might have a different story or narrative or explanation of how that fits into what they deem to be reality. We can notice this with many things in the world around us, in our personal lives. It might be something that you hear on the news, and different people might perceive or understand the significance of it differently depending on their particular religious philosophy, their particular political philosophy or orientation, or their ideas about science or medicine. So we can consider that everyone's going to have their own way of looking at things. We all have particular beliefs and ideas about things that we bring with us. That's our intellectual baggage, in a sense, that shapes how we perceive information or so-called facts that are presented to us. A very simple example in the area of health and medicine might be someone looking at some type of medical test result, and the test result gives some type of empirical information. So it might be some image of the body, something in the blood or urine. So there are different types of information that are being presented. And then when you have that information, you create some explanation of what it means, what significance it has, what's causing or creating the perceived phenomena or symptoms per se. So you could take the same information and give it to several different physicians or healthcare practitioners, and each of them might have a somewhat different perspective on what's creating that particular information or presentation, on how to address it, what type of treatment or therapy might be good for someone. So the so-called empirical facts might be identical that are presented to each person, but each person has their own particular viewpoint or perspective about those facts, their own concepts of reality that they're fitting that information into. And you see a lot of divergence in how people think and how people perceive or understand things. And we all have a very limited perspective on existence, on the world around us. We each have particular experiences and things that we've studied that we may be attached to, that we may in some way generalize and apply to the rest of our experiences and other information we encounter. If we could put everyone's perspective together, then we would be able to kind of put the puzzle pieces together to see things in perhaps a broader and more accurate way. But the reality is that we're all somewhat limited or handicapped in our ability to perceive and understand whatever reality is out there in that sense. So be patient with other people as you attempt to communicate and discuss different topics with them. Understand that they have their own confirmation bias. They'll perhaps take the same facts that you're looking at and have a completely different interpretation of them, a completely different narrative of reality that they're fitting them into. So it often takes a lot of time to communicate and get to understand how someone else is seeing something, and to use that as some form of feedback or reference point relative to your own perspective, to perhaps consider if you may need to shift or expand your perspective with the aid of having additional viewpoints. So it doesn't harm us to encounter other ways of looking at things or understanding things. If our own perspective is limited and inaccurate, then encountering other ideas or perspectives gives us an opportunity to expand our view, to perhaps perceive something a bit more accurately. So we don't want to be afraid of interacting with other people who look at things differently. It's an opportunity to either strengthen your own perspective, so as you compare how you look at things and how someone else looks at things, you might find that there are flaws in their perspective, but you may end up uncovering flaws in your own perspective, which you wouldn't have uncovered if you didn't have that opportunity to see something that's contrasting. So I hope that this discussion has given each of us some things to consider, some ideas about how we perceive reality, how we may apply some form of confirmation bias that uses information to reinforce our own existing perspective, and how we may transcend those types of biases to gain a more clear or accurate understanding of whatever topic or phenomena we might be exploring. I'd like to wish each of you a wonderful day. Namaste.